So I had a friend call me the other day, and in her voice were tears of gratitude for a piece of paper. The very same piece of paper that we're here to talk about today. My name is Kara, and I'm with Crossway Counseling, and this resource is the resource you just downloaded. The very resource that she said helped not just her, but her workplace, and therefore her community. You see, she called me because she had a suicide in her workplace, and she didn't know what to do. And she felt like her coworkers, her colleagues, everyone needed something, and they didn't even know where to start. That very resource is the one that you've gotten from this, and that resource is something they didn't even know they needed until they had it in their hands. So when she called me weeks later saying that this really helped, that meant so much to me in the work that we're doing, because that was why this resource was created. Now, understandably, this resource has a lot of things on it, and we put them all on here because they all have value. We recognize that when people are in crisis or they're going through grief and loss around a suicide, it's really hard to think about these things, and it's really hard to think about where to find them. So we put them all together on this double-sided resource list. I recommend if you share this with the community that you do so freely, because this doesn't plant a seed of suicide in someone's mind. In fact, if this is any part of their experience, it'll actually give them a sense of relief to talk about it. But also, it might be something that you never know could create a ripple effect down the road and help them find a resource when they need it. It might not be now. It might be months or years later, and they might remember that you talked to them about this. Now, if you decide to use this resource, I recommend that you look through it because there's so much information on here to make sure that you're comfortable with everything that we've listed. We've got support groups, we've got walk-in center information, we've got hotlines and text lines that are relevant to the suicide prevention world. And I think those things can really help in the conversation you might have with someone you care about. Now, because it can be overwhelming, you might decide to pick a resource to talk to them about first. Pinpoint something on here that feels a little bit safer. Maybe it feels a little bit easier to say, hey, let's focus here first. And those things might help them kind of digest all this information. But either way, we hope that you take some time for yourself to really look at all these resources, maybe schedule a time to dive in there and see what all these things are. A personal favorite that I recognize our community is still getting to know is Second Wind Fund, which is one of the resources on our list. They have a whole mission to focus on youth suicide by connecting teenagers with therapists at no cost to make sure they get the mental health help they need. So we recommend that you try this, check this out, and we really thank you for downloading this resource today.